Thank you for joining us for this council mini-series. It's centered on faith, life, and the future of All Saints. Today we're going to talk about the pandemic and what kinds of things we did during the pandemic, and also how did this time change us individually and move us forward in our faith. So we're blessed today to have Jeremy Florea with us. Bob Loomis is here as well, and Mary Lou Kolloff also, as well as Pastor Scott and myself. So thank you for joining us, and let's begin with our first question. What did you see All Saints doing during the pandemic? What did we do to try to keep people connected?
Go ahead.
I think we talked in council about live streaming before we had to do it, and it was like, hurry up and do it, and we did it so quickly, and I think that was awesome. And I'm amazed at the creativity of the staff, how you got things up and going, and how we continued with programs in a different way, and they were good. And I thought that was really connecting with the members as we could.
And to that point, how do you have any specifics like on programs and how they stayed connected?
Well, I think having the consoles ingrained in the online streaming was a wonderful idea, because without them and without the readers that you also had, it would have been kind of just, it wouldn't have been the regular service that people were used to. And bringing all those elements in made it complete.
Mm-hmm. And you meant the choirs, is that?
The choirs,
yes. The choirs,
choir
yeah.
and the vocal choir.
Absolutely, which was another way programmatically
Right.
that we were able to keep people connected, yes, yeah.
And the Bible studies that you did, and the pastor studies and things of that nature.
Right.
That all brought in people.
Right.
To vary, I mean, some people might not be interested in one, but they might be interested in another one.
Well, let's talk about the live streaming for a minute. A lot of people got used to getting up and enjoying worship in pajamas and with a cup of coffee,
Yes.
sitting on the couch. But, you know, we missed the community aspect of it. So how did you, how were your feelings about interacting with worship online only? What did you miss, but what did you enjoy?
I'll comment. I would say in general, it was great that there was access and you did feel connected. What I missed is just the face-to-face interaction and being able to see the greater, church community and friends that that you can interact with either before church, after church.
I agree with Jeremy. It's like, I was very appreciative that we had the streaming service available, and it was so timely, like Mary Lou had pointed out. I mean, who would have thought that right after we install all that the pandemic kicks in. But yeah, my wife and I really missed meeting people and talking with people, and just being part of the group. You're by yourself at your home. It's not quite the same.
So in what ways, aside from live streaming, in what ways did you connect? Like council. Tell us about council meetings and how that happened.
Well, we Zoomed, and it ended up being really good. Everybody got their chance to talk. I still felt that we were very productive. I didn't know that I would like Zoom. I'm not the biggest fan, but it worked, and it worked with Bible studies. That was awesome, because you felt connected to so many of the church members. So I feel like we connected also, well, other groups, like let's just say the youth groups. They did, like their fundraiser, the pumpkins. The pumpkin patch was the most awesome thing. Lisa had sent out, a SOS, need help.
Yes.
All these people showed up. So we could still do things like that. And the festivals, we continued with the festivals here, or Harvest Hills, I believe is the name of it.
Yes.
So we continued things. Welcome table. Set up a tent. Kudos to you guys standing there in the rain and the snow.
Yeah.
But we still did it.
Yeah.
So that was very creative, and I think that continued our presence in the community and what we can give to others.
I was going to add, so for the Bible studies, and this is in general, I think over the last year for everybody who, all of our comfort levels got stretched with technology, and we even use now the term Zoom.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of different video.
It's a verb now.
It's a verb now. So we're all
I don't know
comfortable.
if I had heard of Zoom before.
Exactly.
Right.
Other than going fast.
Well, I was retired, so.
Yeah.
But it gave access. We had folks that joined the Saturday meetings that weren't physically in Columbus, that we had certain, I would say we had more participation on some days of people that just wouldn't have been able to go, or if they were traveling, they still were able to join in. But yeah, just having access and everybody being willing, we didn't have much choice, but to adopt the usage of all the video platforms, it was fun. It was fun to get to interact that way.
Well, and you mentioned something that's very important is that there had to be a willingness to it. You know, it's one thing for us to live stream a worship service. It's another thing for you to say, okay, this is what we have to do right now, and so I am going to be a part of this in helping keep people safe by staying home. So, you know, we certainly appreciate that too.
And looking back, I think we continued everything that we had done before that, only online.
We certainly
Kept
tried.
everybody involved as much as you could. The one thing that really surprised me, and this is not really, I guess, online streaming, but the amount of giving from the community. I think that really showed the strength of our community, because at first I thought, oh, this is not good.
Right.
You know, people won't be in church and they just will forget about providing an offering or whatever, but actually just the opposite occurred. I mean, I think we were just about really close to the normal giving.
Absolutely, yeah. And which is a sign of a healthy congregation.
Right.
And you know, from our point of view, it is knowing that people's faith has been moved, you know, pre-pandemic, so that it continued during the pandemic, certainly. Which then I want to segue to how has your faith progressed, or what has been the result of your faith during the pandemic?
You know, I think for me, I learned to be still and to listen. I think, you know, we're all very busy and we all have schedules even when we're retired. And it taught me that I needed to step back, and God is answering me. I just have to be still and listen. So that was probably the biggest thing, that I grew in that respect.
Yeah, I would actually say I think my faith might have increased because, like you just had more time to sit and think perhaps and reflect, and I wound up reading, you know, a daily Bible lesson every day. I usually didn't do that. So just, you know, just more time to think about things.
I would echo that. I now use an app it's a Bible app that I do, you know, have a daily verse of the Bible that I read. I smile here because I felt like my faith for sure increased. I prayed more, but earlier on, the first 3 to 6 months, which were chaotic for everybody, I felt like looking backwards, my faith was given a lot of opportunity to prove itself, being that there's all these unknowns, and after whether it would be a day, a week, a month of challenging things that were, you know, family or work, without a doubt, I felt like the stress, and it went up and down. I don't know that I had felt more stress in a calendar year. It's been a long time for that, but what it also proved was the opportunity and a reminder, like, why? Just because it's not going perfectly like I think it should go doesn't mean it's not going perfectly.
Right.
So it gave me the opportunity, and still does, just to lean on my faith and remember it's not I'm not in control here.
And just because it's not going perfectly doesn't mean that God can't use it.
Sure.
Yes.
So presiding Bishop Elizabeth Eaton has said, and I know it's been on the ELC website, that the church has never closed. But I think the public perception is that we closed down. So I think it's helpful to hear you all talk about ways that we continue to thrive, and that we didn't let ministry shut down at all through things like youth group, middle school, Sunday school, welcome table, online Bible studies, and so forth. And there has been a lot of opportunity. Jeremy, you've been on the men's Bible study, and you alluded to, we have a member, a missionary in Slovakia, who's been able to participate every week with us faithfully. And if not for the technology, if not for that willingness to move into an unknown that you all have kind of alluded to, it wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have become a part of the community. And so many people, I think Haley Britt in Arizona singing in the virtual choir, and she's not the only one who lives out of state.
Right.
So how have you seen All Saints thrive in the past year, and what do you hope we will continue to carry on as we now seem to be kind of moving out of the pandemic?
Well, I think the last, and I'll just say a year, I know it's been a bit more than a year, but, you know, as far as thriving goes, I would go back to the giving again.
Okay.
Because it would have been very easy for people to say, well, I'm not in church, I don't think I can, there's no need for me to give right now. Actually, it would have been a little easy for people to say, well, I don't feel like getting up and turning on the television and watching, you know, because I think people are ingrained to get up and go to church.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe some other churches have had online streaming, but we never did. So I think we thrive by having so many people participate in the Bible studies, the pastor studies, the online streaming service, the choirs, etc. Well, and when you turn on the television, you can see how many people are logging on, so you know, oh, I'm not the only one. I mean, there's more people. So.
I think we're thriving too because we've given people options. I mean, you can sit in your pajamas, which, let's face it, on a nice cold sunny morning, I'm great with that.
Well, see, I usually got up and put a tuxedo on.
Well, okay, good for you. But I think that's what's helped propel us forward, is we now have lots of options, not only for service opportunities, worship opportunities, and I hope that we will continue to get creative and think, gosh, maybe we need to add this because people really like this online, or we need to start coming back as we can safely because people do want to be in community, but having the options, I think that's amazing.
Well, I think having the online option is just wonderful because, you know, sometimes in your life you can't, you might be ill or whatever, but you can go down and watch the television and watch the online service and still participate. Or maybe you have something going on that you don't have time to make it to church that day, but you can still participate.
You could be on vacation.
Right, exactly.
You could.
You could.
I know I'll do that. Tune in on my iPhone.
I would echo with the sentiments. I think we thrived based on just embracing all the challenges and then all the technology solutions we came up with. But also as we go forward with being a dad and husband and 3 busy kids that are in sports every weekend, almost all year round, it does give another opportunity outside of, we can't make this Sunday, next Sunday, the next Sunday, oh, we can this one. But it gives access for folks that are busy or can't make it in.
Right.
The wonderful thing about the pandemic, and I hate to say it, but quite honestly, there will be good things that come out of the pandemic, but one of them is proving to us the value of live streaming. You know, the church is an organization about inclusion, and prior to not having the only worship being done in person in a building, so anyone who was ill, anyone who was not able to come for whatever reason,
Limited mobility.
limited mobility, whatever, they couldn't come, and so we excluded them from the community. And this is a wonderful thing because we can include people. You know, we've talked about, I would bet once or twice a month we've been getting letters from people all over the United States that tell us that they tune in to what we're doing.
That's just amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they may have some connection to All Saints, they may not. But it's a different, I think what the pandemic has showed us too is that a community is not just the area where you are. I mean, that's your primary community, but it is a bigger community now. I think we can see better the body of Christ because of having such a large community.
Yeah, and talking about people that we're reviewing from around the country, you know Steve and Bunny
Yes.
in Utah now. Well, I know the church, the name of their church when they're gone, so I just tuned onto that one day.
Yes.
Watched their service in
Yeah.
Ohio. So
Right.
Yes.
We often want to be all things to all people, and while we know we can, as Pastor Bonnie said, it's about inclusivity. And we know now that we have ways that we can connect with a wide swath of people. And that's been the impetus too behind meeting outdoors and offering things at different times, offering women's Bible study in person and on Zoom, continuing to do the men's Bible study on Zoom because of the people out of state and out of country who connect. And so we hope that, again, will be a good thing that continues out of this pandemic, is the inclusive aspect of ministry that we've long wanted to achieve, but the pandemic made us dive in.
one of the things we wanted to do was to make sure we're increasing, or what did you say, the depth of...
Yeah, the depth of connection.
And that'll be hard to know if you, because like when people,
Right.
you know, when you come into church and you commune with others and you talk with other people and you share ideas and you get an idea of somebody's
You see the
getting it,
change. You
growing
can see
it,
the change.
seeing changes, etc. You can't see that online.
Right.
Yeah. Julie Klaus might be a good example of, she talked last week about kind of looking into a Lutheran church in Tennessee to attend, that she wants to attend. And when her time on council is ended, she'll plug in more fully. But I could also see Julie still participating in online Bible studies. And so that might be kind of that barometer of like, do we see people who we know they maybe are plugged into another faith community, but they still hop in.
Yeah.
They still connect with us on some way. That might be one way.
In our Tuesday evening women's Zoom, we have people that are not members here.
Well, we do in the Wednesday.
And on Wednesday morning as well, yeah. But also, I think another reason to keep both of them.
Yes.
I think there are people that will attend on Zoom on Tuesday evenings, even when we're out of the pandemic.
That works.
So,
That works.
yeah, so it's
Some
not,
people
I
are
don't
just
think
more
it's,
comfortable.
right, I don't think it's an either
Not
or
being-
anymore.
No,
It's a both.
provide
and.
both.
Right.
Well, Pastor Bonnie made a good point that, the ELCA is still, they're
No.
still, they are stuck in like a membership mindset.
Yes.
That literally are boxes to be checked.
Well, most churches are, most
Yeah.
denominations are.
And someone said long ago, this was maybe when I interned, that what if membership was everyone that we ministered to? Like people last night who came to love to. What if membership
Right.
is not who gives or communes or attends on a Sunday, but it's all the people that we find ways to connect with? And I know that's like impossible to track for the point of data, but how beautiful a thought, I think, that we're not limiting our reach to only those people who sign a pew pad or.
So to your point there about asking, we want to increase the depth of the relationship of the church through the pandemic and beyond, it's how do you measure it? So if I, because I'm now comfortable to use technology to, watch a live stream, and now I found 5 other things that really interested me, that whether it's our denomination or another just great message from another church,
Yeah.
that my depth grew because had I
Yes.
not watched or gone through the process through this time, that we had access to
Right.
Yeah.
watching live streaming, or I got comfortable with Zoom and a Bible study, and my momentum carried. It shouldn't matter. I don't think whether it's 100% based on All Saints,
Right.
and I can
Right.
say yes, I did this 28 times this month
Right.
with All Saints.
Right.
Just
right.
that I did it 28
And
times.
not to be so, what's the word, self-absorbed or like so self-conscious that we want to encourage you if there is some other way to plug in with the ELCA, or like you said, Stephen Buddy McKay, you said, you know, you tuned into the church with it. We don't need to be so like, you know,
Right.
you know, holding on to
Threatened by.
I was interested in
Right.
seeing, you know, that's their service and where they're attending. And things.
Exactly. And it is,
Yeah.
because attendance is numbers.
Yeah.
Pastors or leaders in congregation often feel threatened when a member goes to another congregation. Well, this, we certainly have seen that with the live streaming, that we don't need to feel threatened by, we should encourage people to hear other messages and you know, tune in and listen to other kinds of things.
Because it doesn't mean they're going to go up to Toledo, Ohio. You know, they'll still, people
Right.
will still come to all the
Right.
same. So
Well,
we want-
Yeah, Bob's not gonna go to Utah every Sunday.
You know, though, when you said going forward, the thing that stuck in my mind, though, for a lot of the people that had to do online and weren't familiar with it, that missed that human connection,
Yes.
that we need to continue to let our members know. We want that.
Right.
It isn't going to be everything's online and you can't.
Right.
I think that's important, especially for people that weren't familiar with how to get online and how to do Bible studies or, you know, contribute to other organizations. So I think we still need to, we are about that, but we
Right.
need to make sure we convey that to our members, that
Right.
yes, we do want that personal
Right.
contact.
And not everybody had the equipment or the strong Wi-Fi or the. Yeah, so there are a lot of ways, I think, that we need to tell people that we're offering both.
Yeah.
And I always think that as a larger congregation with resources, we owe it to put out something like online worship services in a pandemic so that smaller congregations can still go to church. If they
Right.
don't do it themselves, if they're not having it themselves, then they have the opportunity to worship, yes. So any last questions, thoughts, comments?
What do you foresee the next 12 months looking like from maybe the hybrid model?
Yeah, the next 12 months will certainly be of course, coming out of the pandemic. I have to keep reminding myself that we are still in the pandemic,
Yes.
that COVID-19 still exists, and we're not out of it yet. But I see the next 12 months being growth here, and being a time of changing our mindsets. We have a certain way that we think about attendance, and it's in the ELCA.
Mhm.
You know, we think about attendance is it's Sunday morning and you have to be, you know, in a worship service. Well, maybe that's not what attendance is anymore. And who are, I think membership in congregations may have to be looked at closer, because are members only people that can come to this place, you know?
Or they can
is-
give in communion.
or they can give in commune, or does it have a different idea now? I think out of this, we are going to really be cast forward into the media piece of it. We cannot go back.
Yep.
That's the piece. We cannot go back. But I think, too, that there are a lot of things that we can move into. So, yeah, so that's those are some things that I'm saying. How do we emerge from this? And so it will be taking a look at what we've been together, and how do we take the best parts of that and keep doing great ministry in this world, and keep making sure that the good news of Jesus Christ is spread throughout the world. So, yes, thank you for that.
And I would add too, I think one of the dilemmas will be how to be both a physical church and an online one. And that's kind of a blank canvas, I think, right now, that we get to paint upon, and that we get to determine what that looks like. There really is no mapped out, you know, template for how to bring people more into community if they only connect with us online. I think the holy challenge that we have is to find out how to deepen those connections. Again, because of health and mobility, because of distance, maybe they can't physically be in the building, but we need to we need to find ways to still deepen those connections with them.
And to go off that again, I think this is a time for the church, and I mean the broader church, to be pioneers. Because the pioneers move from something they know into something they don't know, and they create something good. And so I really do think that's where we have to be as the people of God. Yes. So I want to say thank you to you for your leadership. You all are going to be a big part of moving us forward and doing the kinds of things that we have talked about, projecting into the next year or so. So, just thank you. Thank you for your willingness to lead this congregation into what God's called us to be. So thank you for joining us and being a part of this series. The next two will be coming up, and so we wish you a good rest of the day.